Alright guys, today we're talking all the cuts you can make on a table saw. This will go far beyond your basic rips and cross cuts. Those are great cuts and they're staples in the wood shop, but hey, how far can you take it with a table saw, and what type of joinery cuts can you make to really push your woodworking ahead to the next level? Stick around, let's find out. Well, this is just a smattering of some of my favorite joints and cuts to make on the table saw, but you can make rabbets with the grain, you can make dado notches across the grain, cut tenons, and this one is kind of an offset tenon. You get into some real interesting joinery when you build parts for glass doors, something you'd find on a bookcase. And when you're doing this advanced joinery, you know, you get really interesting parts that you're building, yet all that is done on the table saw. So it's neat to see how the parts can come together in such an accurate way, just with basic table saw joinery. So there's a lot to go over here. You can cut tenons with a dado blade is my usual method, but you can also make tenons with a tenoning jig. That's kind of a specialty jig that's available. There's also really specialty cuts, like these Cove cuts that you can use with a special technique on the table saw. And so we'll get into the differences between some router-based profiles that we've done in the past and instead using a table saw to make a Cove cut. It seems really wild that you can do that with a regular table saw blade, but it's definitely something that's possible if you use the right setup on your table saw. Also, if you outfit your table saw with the right jigs and fixtures, you can do really neat tapering cuts. So let's get into some of these piece by piece and check out these techniques. I find myself setting up a dado stack on my table saw quite often. This can be used for joinery or decorative purposes. Here we're milling a 3/4 inch wide groove in legs of a stereo rack to receive solid hardwood panels, and that's a really great way to make joinery, just simple grooves at the table saw. But you can also make decorative grooves and repeat those as often as you like, as the plan calls for. You can come up with some really interesting looks. And bevel cuts are another great one you can make at the table saw. Of course, it helps if you have a high-low fence to really support the panel as you pass that across the blade. You don't need any special blade for this operation. Just a 40-tooth general purpose blade will work just fine. Take your time with this cut. Remove the bulk of the waste on the first pass, and then come back with a light skimming pass for best results. So many times when I have a dado blade on the table saw, I'm also using a miter gauge. So you want to check that for square. And cross-grain dado notches are a great joinery technique to learn. And sometimes you can move the rip fence to get a little wider notch than what your dado stack will allow. One of my most used accessories on the table saw is actually a crosscut sled. It gives you a great ability to trim and size large panels that would otherwise be pretty difficult to manage at the table saw. If you want to learn how to build this X-cut sled, check out the links in the description box. There's a great video there that'll take you step by step through building your own X-cut sled. It's a great accessory to have for any table saw. One of my most common techniques with the dado blade is half-lap joinery. They're really easy to cut. Each piece in the joint is cut just the same way, and it's a fit you can sneak up on by raising the dado blade height. It's actually a very strong joint because it has a large surface area for glue, and tests have shown that it's one of the strongest joints you can make in woodworking. Applications include web frames for seats, and also web frames for carcasses and cabinets like dressers. So if you haven't used half laps much, do make it a technique that you turn to frequently in the wood shop. The tapering jig is another really neat accessory for your table saw. You can use this with a single blade to make those low-angle tapering cuts that would be a little hard to manage on a chop saw or miter saw. But with this jig, a table saw handles it beautifully. You wind up with symmetrical, even tapers anywhere you need it, and you can cut right to your layout line. So it's a great jig. It rides on a runner underneath, and we'll also link up in the description box plans for this particular tapering jig. Another application is if you have a short length piece that you're not comfortable running across your joiner, you can use the tapering jig just to establish a straight edge so that you can take it back to the rip fence and cut it to width. A lot of times I'll gang parts together and use a miter gauge and dado blade so that I can ensure that the notches are in exactly the same position on both work pieces. This really helps me in final assembly to know that the parts are going to be exactly the same. Oftentimes I'll use the workpiece itself to set the rip fence. It's just easier than trying to take a measuring tape to the table saw. Just use the workpiece itself to establish your saw settings, and that way when you assemble the parts, you're assured an accurate fit. Sometimes you'll need to make a rabbet in 2 passes using a single blade. That's another good option when you don't want to take the time to set up a dado blade. Here we're making the first pass with a tray, in this case, oriented flat on the surface of the table saw. And then we turn it up vertically against the surface of the high fence and let the waste fall away free from the blade. Cutting tenons on the table saw with a dado blade are an absolute mainstay joint in my shop. This is my preferred method to cut tenons, by incrementally raising a dado blade until the fit of the tenon in the mortise is just right. One of the main benefits of cutting tenons this way is you can cut all 4 surfaces of the joint in a single pass, single setup. What I mean is you can cut both cheek surfaces and both shoulder surfaces with the same blade. With cabinet door applications, there's also a great technique where you have a single blade on the table saw and make a groove in 2 passes. By rotating the board 180 degrees between passes, you can ensure a centered groove. And this is a really fundamental concept in cabinetry and woodworking in general. It's much easier to get a centered groove that way than to try to take a measuring rule to the table saw. So these techniques can help you make mission style cabinet doors with just a table saw. Hey, you don't need any fancy molding bits or router bits to make cabinet doors, just a good table saw and a basic assortment of blades. You do have other options for making tenons at the table saw. Beyond just using a dado blade, you can use a specialty tenoning jig. The only drawback of this setup is it does require you to make scoring cuts to establish the shoulder line first. Then you move the workpiece to the tenoning jig to finish the joint. You can make adjustments to the jig to fine-tune the fit of the tenon, but because it requires multiple setups, I usually prefer the dado blade for making tenons. Well, here's one that's definitely not your everyday cut at the table saw, but if you actually have 2 straight edge boards that are long enough to clamp to your table saw, and you present those so that they're parallel to one another but at an angle to the blade, you can create nice looking cove cuts. This is something you could use to make your own custom crown molding, or any part that needed a little trough or tray shape like that. So let's see what that cut looks like, and then we'll talk about the technique a little bit in detail. Here we go. So what we'll do is just raise the blade incrementally to get a little bit deeper and finish forming our cove shape. Just a little bit at a time, probably a 1/16 of an inch per pass, and we'll make another swipe at it. So that's just about as far as I would take it with the thickness that we have available. But what's really amazing is how smooth this cut is, even with a very standard 40 tooth combination blade. And so even just a general purpose blade, doesn't even have to be a full kerf blade, and you get really a smooth surface that just with some light sanding will be ready for finishing. So that's a neat technique if you want to make your own cove molding. A couple of points about this sort of procedure. You will have to remove the riving knife from your saw, and that's just simply because it's in the way in this orientation. Riving knife is a great safety feature. 99% of the time you'll have this on the saw, but when you're making this specialty cove cut, you'll need to remove the riving knife. Another thing I like about this technique is it gives you more options when you're making your own custom crown molding. This was actually a built-up crown molding that I made on the router table for a fireplace mantle, but it had to be made of several smaller profiles. With this technique we're talking about today, you could make a crown molding at just about any spring angle you wanted, and you would use fewer parts to build that up. So really nice approach if you're doing crown molding. Alright guys, there it is, all the cuts you can make on a table saw. If you've got an idea for a lesser known technique, something that you've used on your table saw, do drop me a note in the comment section. I'm always looking for new techniques on the table saw. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.